Welcome to the another video, guys. In this particular video I'm going to show you how to host Django website using Gunicorn plus Nginx plus Django, right? So let's do one thing. Let's go without wasting time. Let's go started and let's start hosting process of the Django website. So first thing first, you need to open the browser and open your cloud provider's account. Okay, so if you are learning about system administration, if you are learning about the website hosting, etc., then you should definitely have the cloud account. And if you don't have, please create a new account anywhere on the cloud. You can use AWS, DigitalOcean, Linode, whatever you suits best to you. But if you want to use DigitalOcean, it is giving you $200 free credit for the new signups. You can use link in the description, and once you have the account you can create the server. Okay, so in my case server is already ready. I have simply created server by clicking on the create button, then droplets, selecting the region and create a server. It's a quite simple process, right? Follow the same process according to your cloud provider account, and once the server is ready, let's copy the IP address. So let's go ahead and open the terminal. If you are using the Windows, and then in that case you need to open the CMD, and you can follow rest of the process as same as this. So let's go ahead and do SSH root at IP address. Once you hit enter, it will ask for password. You can add the password of the server, and once you hit enter, you are inside the server. Okay, so first thing you need to do when you are on server is you need to update the repositories of the server, and you need to upgrade the packages of the server. So for this you can do apt update apt upgrade and -y. It will update the repository and it will upgrade the package of the server to the latest version. Okay, so for me I have already done it, so I'm not going to do it, so that's why I hit Ctrl+C. Then next thing we need to do is we need to install some necessary packages. So if you remember our video topic, it's hosting Django website using Nginx. So that means we need to install Nginx, we need to install Python, we need to install Python pip and some necessary packages. So let's go ahead and let's check what is the packages that we need to install. So first thing we need to do is apt install Nginx, then we need to do Python 3 pip and pip env. These are the packages you need to install. You can just copy this particular command and you can do the enter button, and in case it is not working, you can just add sudo in the beginning of the command, and then you can hit the enter. Once you hit enter, it will ask for YNS, no, hit enter again. It will take by default value which is S, and it will start installing the packages. So let's wait for some time and let's see. So right now all necessary packages are installed. The next thing we need to do is we need to get the sample Django project. So in order to use that sample Django project in this particular demo video, I have already created sample Django project and it's hosted on my GitHub. I will provide link in the description also, or you can just follow the process directly. So in order to get that sample Django project that I have created, I will use the command called git clone command, right? So before that, let's do one thing. We need to go to the directory where we will be hosting Django website. So let's go ahead and let's go cd var. Cd is the change directory, cd var www, and here we are going to use the Django website. Here we are going to host our Django website. So let's go ahead and paste this particular command. So it's a git clone and then URL. So if you just copy this URL and paste in the browser, you will see that that's a GitHub URL for the my Django project, the sample Django project that I have created for you guys. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's add this URL in the browser, and as you can see, this is a my test sample Django project that I have created for demonstration. So it will pull that sample Django project when I do git clone. So once you type this particular command, you can just hit enter and it will start pulling the Django project. And if you do ls, as you can see, it is showing the sample Django project is there. So let's do cd and go inside the Django project. Let's clear the screen a little bit, do ls, and as you can see, there is a requirement.txt file is there. So basically if you open this particular requirement.txt file, you will find the all packages that are required in order to run the Django project, which is Django, SQL parser, and whatever it takes. Okay, so let's do one thing. Let's go ahead and let's create a virtual environment first. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to enter this particular command python 3-mvenv and myenv. So this will basically create the virtual environment for your Django project. Okay, so once you do ls, as you can see, there is a myenv folder present. So what you can do is you can do source myenv. So you can do myenv and then bin activate. This will activate your virtual environment. So let's do, and once it is done, do ls, and then we need to install the packages in the virtual environment. So do pip install -r requirements.txt and hit enter, and it will start installing the necessary packages that are listed in the requirement.txt file. Once it is done, you can just simply clear the, there is one package that is not added in the requirement.txt, which is Gunicorn, installing Gunicorn. So let's do pip install and let's do Gunicorn, and it should install the Gunicorn. In my case, I have already installed it, that's why it's not showing downloading thing, but in your case it should show. Okay, so let's move forward, and once the Gunicorn is installed using pip packages, next thing we need to do is we need to create a service file, and that service file will be used by Nginx in order to host the Django website. Okay, so as I said, we need to create a service file next. Okay, so let's do one thing, let's do nano and then enter the path of the service file. So once you hit enter, you need to paste this particular content in your file. Okay, so I will explain one by one what this content is. So it's a basically service file. Service file start with the unit. Then there is a description, hence we are creating service file Gunicorn. We are adding the Gunicorn daemon as a description. Then there is a network target. Once the network target is done, there is a service. So there are details of this service. The user I am going to use is root, because I am deploying all services using the root. If you are using Ubuntu or something else, please mention that particular user here. The group is again root. In your case, if the group is different, then please mention the different group. But if you are following exact same steps, and then everything will be the same as you and me, right? Then there is a working directory, the directory where our project files are present, our project files are present. So if you remember, we have pasted our project files in the var www Django web sample, and my test is a project name. If you go to the GitHub account, the folder name is Django web sample, but the project name here is my test, right? So if you see the name here, inside this my test directory, there is a manage.py, etc., right? So that means project name is my test. So that's why I have entered the my test right here. Next thing, exec start. So here we need to give the path of the Gunicorn. Okay, so if you remember, we have installed Gunicorn using the Nginx. Okay, so that's why we need to give the full path of the env folder that we have created earlier, then the bin and the Gunicorn. Inside a bin, the Gunicorn will be installed right there. Then there is an access log file we need to pass, then how many workers we need to set, and then there is a different configuration, like we need to bind the sock file. So we don't need to create this sock file. Okay, just add the path accordingly that I have added. This sock file will automatically be created once we run this service file. The service file is responsible for creating a sock file in the location we mentioned, and it is not necessary to mention the location of the sock file in the project. We mentioned the location of the sock file in the project just to keep it simple, but you can mention any location for storing the sock file. Okay, so once it is done, then again our project name is my test. Then we need to enter my test.wsgi.application, because Django uses WSGI server, and Gunicorn is also going to use the same Django's WSGI server in order to host Django file. Okay, so I think that's all. Everything is clear about this particular service file. And there is a again wanted by multi-user.target. You need to add that, and let's remove this command actually. And once you do this, hit the Ctrl S, then Ctrl X. If you are not able to copy paste exact same content, don't worry, I'm going to create one blog. I will paste that blog link in the description so that you can just copy paste directly this particular config file, right? So once it is done, what you need to do is you need to do two things. First thing you need to do is you need to daemon reload. You need to, if we make changes in the service files, we need to do daemon reload. So sudo systemctl daemon reload. Once it is done, then you need to enable Gunicorn service that we have created. So let's enable this Gunicorn service using this particular command. Then we need to start the Gunicorn service. So in order to start this Gunicorn service, you need to use this particular command. Then we need to check if the service is started or not. So for this we can use systemctl status Gunicorn. So systemctl status status, and as you can see, it is showing the service is active and running. So that means we have done everything right. And what we can do is, right now the service is on. Next thing we need to do is we need to set up the Nginx configuration. So let's clear this and let's go to the Nginx configuration. Now, in order to set up Nginx configuration, you have two options. Either you can modify existing default configuration or you can create a new one. So in our case, we are going to create a new one. Okay, so let's do one thing and let's add rm command to remove old configuration. Add /etc/nginx, okay, nginx, then sites, available, and default. We are going to remove this configuration. And next thing we need to do is nano and then add the default configuration, nano and site available. So as you can see, it is a blank page because we have removed the default Nginx configuration. Next thing we need to do is we need to add the Nginx configuration. So you can just copy paste this configuration. I will explain the configuration a little bit, and there are some changes we need to do in the configuration. First thing, it will listen on the port 80. Then there is a server name. We don't have right now the domain, so we will just add our IP address, or we can just add underscore here. Underscore means take whatever is default. Once that is done, we need to add the favicon. We don't have favicon for our website, so we can just remove it. In your case, if you have favicon, you can just pass the path of the favicon. Again, there is a location for the static files. For as of now, for my website, we don't have the static files. But in your case, if you have the static file, then what you can do is you can just mention path for the static file folder, and it will pass the static file accordingly. In my case, there is no static file, then I will remove this. Okay. Next thing, we need to add the proxy configuration. So as you can see, it is showing the proxy path. And if you see the path, then path is a little bit messed up because our files present at var/www, then /w Django web sample, and then the sock file. If you compare our previous service file, then there was a path for sock file. We need to pass exact same path here. Then we need to do Control+S, then Control+X. Okay, so I will show you the configuration service file also where we pass the path. So if you go to the exact start command here, so as you can see, there was a path for sock file. So this is the path of the sock file that we entered in this particular file. We need to add exact same path of the sock file for this particular thing right here. Okay, once it is done, you can just Control+S, then Control+X, and then we need to make sure that Nginx configuration is valid. So do Nginx tag T, and it is showing that test is successful. Once it is done, what you can do is restart the Nginx service. So service Nginx and restart, and that should do the magic. Now close this terminal, open the browser and copy the IP address of the server. Go to the browser and paste IP address and hit enter, and your Django website is live. Okay, so this is how, ladies and gentlemen, we host the Django website. If you have any doubts, then what you can do is you can put the doubts in the below comment,